Hey, welcome. Percentages are one of those things that are just everywhere. Calculating a tip, trying to figure out if a sale is actually a good deal, making sense of the news, it all comes back to them. So, in the next few minutes, we're going to take any of that confusion and flip it into total confidence. Let's do this.
So let's just start with this. When you see 75%, what does that actually mean to you? Like, what is it really saying? Go ahead and think about it for a sec, because that simple answer, well, it's the key to understanding everything else.
Okay, first things first, let's get right back to the absolute basics, because there's one simple core idea that once you get it, makes every single percentage calculation click into place, no matter how complicated it seems.
And here it is. The whole secret is literally in the name, percent. It just means per hundred. That's it. So from this moment on, whenever you see that little percent sign, I want you to just swap it out in your head for the words out of 100. Seriously, this one little mental trick is the foundation for everything. So let's circle back to our first question. What does 75% really mean? Well, now we know it's just 75 out of 100. 75 pieces of a pie that's been cut into 100 equal slices. See? Not so scary, right?
And, if you think about it like a fraction, 75 over 100 can be simplified. It's the exact same thing as 3/4. So really, a percentage is just another costume that a fraction or a decimal can wear. It's all just different ways of talking about a part of a whole.
And this right here is why we even bother with percentages. It's all about comparison. For instance, did you do better getting 21 questions right out of 28 or 30 questions right out of 40? I mean, it's kind of hard to tell just by looking at it. But if you convert them both to a percentage, you find out they are both exactly 75%. Percentages just give us a common ruler to measure everything against. Okay, now that we've got the big idea down, let's get our hands dirty. How do you actually take some random numbers and turn them into a percentage? It's time to add the one core formula you'll ever need to your toolkit. This little beauty right here is the engine for pretty much everything. All you do is take the part, that's the piece you're interested in, and divide it by the whole, which is, the total amount of whatever it is. Then you just multiply that by 100 to get it into that per 100 format we were just talking about. Let's put this into a real-world test. No pun intended. Let's say you just took an exam, there were 60 questions, and you nailed 45 of them. That feels pretty good, but what's your score as a percentage? Let's run it through the formula. All right, let's break it down. Step 1, identify your numbers. The part we care about is your score, 45. The whole test was 60 questions. Step 2, we divide the part by the whole. So 45 divided by 60, that gives us 0.75. And the final step, to make it a percentage, we just multiply by 100. And boom, there it is, 75%. That test score is a solid 75%. See? Once you have that formula, it's just a simple, straightforward process every single time. Awesome. Now, percentages get even cooler when we use them to see how things change over time. Is your investment portfolio growing? Did your favorite team's winning record drop? This is where percentage change comes into play, and it's super powerful. Now, this formula might look a little longer, but the logic is exactly the same. First, you just find the difference between the new number and the original old number. Then, and this is the most important part, you divide that difference by the original value. You have to compare it to where it started. After that, it's the same old story, multiply by 100. Let's try an example that I think we can all get excited about. A pay raise. Say last year your salary was $50,000. This year, you got a nice bump up to $60,000. First of all, congrats. But what was the actual percentage increase? So, let's just follow the steps. The difference between the new and old salary is $10,000. Now, we take that difference and divide it by the original salary of $50,000. That gives us 0.2. And to finish it off, we multiply by 100. And there we go, a 20% raise. That's a really useful calculation to have in your back pocket, whether you're looking at your own finances or trying to figure out what the latest economic headlines actually mean. Okay, you're doing great. You've got the basic idea, you've got the formulas. So for this last part, let's go next level and look at a couple of super common traps that trip people up all the time. If you can avoid these, you're golden. We're going to look at two big ones. First, the mistake of not being clear on what your percentage is of. And second, the classic double discount trap that gets shoppers all the time. Honestly, this might be the single most important question you can ask when you're dealing with percentages. A percentage on its own is totally meaningless. It has to be a percentage of something. And that something is what we call the base, or the whole that we talked about earlier.
Just look at how big a difference it makes. 10% isn't just one number. 10% of 200 is 20, but 10% of 100 is only 10. The percentage itself didn't change, but the answer is completely different just because the starting number, the base, was different. So always ask, a percentage of what?
Ah, yes, the classic store sale trick. You see something is on sale for 20% off, and you have a coupon for an extra 10% off. So your brain immediately goes, sweet, that's 30% off. But I'm sorry to say, it's not.
Here's what's really happening. The first discount, the 20% off, is taken from the original price. So now you're paying 80% of the price. That second 10% discount is then taken from that new, already lower price. So what you're really doing is finding 90% of the remaining 80%.
And when you multiply 0.8 by 0.9, you get 0.72. That means you're paying 72% of the original price. So the total discount is actually 28%. It's close to 30% for sure, but it's not quite the same. And that's exactly where stores get you.
And just like that, you've got it. From the basic definition of per hundred to the core formulas and even the tricky pitfalls to avoid, you are now totally equipped to deal with percentages like a pro. So the only question left is, what are you going to calculate first? Go on, the world of numbers is out there waiting for you. Thanks for hanging out with me.